The galaxy should be loud, it should be crowded, it should be obvious. And yet, when we look, we see nothing, we listen, and we hear nothing. Silence. Look up on a clear night, far from the city, and you'll see a few thousand stars. That's it, a few thousand. But hidden behind them is a number so enormous your brain can't actually hold it. Our galaxy, just our one galaxy, has somewhere between 100 and 400 billion stars. Most of those stars have planets, and there are around 2 trillion galaxies in the observable universe. Put it all together, and the number of planets out there is something like a 1 followed by 24 zeros. That is more planets than there are grains of sand on every beach on Earth. By a lot. Now, here's the thing. We know life can happen, because it happened here. We know it doesn't need much, because life showed up on Earth almost the moment the planet cooled down enough to allow it. And we know there is nothing special about our little corner of space. Same physics, same chemistry, same kinds of stars and rocky worlds, everywhere we point a telescope. So do the math, even pessimistically. Out of a number that staggering, surely life got going somewhere else too. And out of all those somewheres, surely a few crawled their way up to intelligence. And out of those, surely at least some built rockets and radios and started reaching out among the stars, like we are just barely beginning to dream of doing. The galaxy should be loud, it should be crowded, it should be obvious. And yet, when we look, we see nothing, we listen, and we hear nothing. Silence. That gap between how full of life the universe should be and how empty it looks has a name. It's called the Fermi Paradox, and it might be the most unsettling unanswered question in all of science. It's named after a physicist, Enrico Fermi. The story goes that he stumbled onto it over lunch in 1950. His colleagues were chatting about flying saucers, half joking about aliens, and Fermi listened for a while, did some quick math in his head about the age and size of the galaxy, and then asked one simple question that stopped the whole table cold. Where is everybody? Think about why that question is so sharp. Our galaxy is about 13 billion years old, a civilization with even slow, ordinary rockets. Nothing magic, nothing faster than light, could spread from one side of the galaxy to the other in a few million years. A few million years sounds like forever, but against 13 billion, it's nothing. It's the blink before the blink, which means if even one curious spacefaring species had ever appeared anywhere in our galaxy at any point in its enormous history, it would have had more than enough time to explore every star system in it, including ours, many times over. So either they came and went long before we showed up, or they're here and we can't see them. Or, and this is the part that keeps people up at night, they were never there at all. For 70 years, some of the smartest people alive have been trying to explain the silence. And their answers split into 2 camps. One of them is comforting. The other one is terrifying. Let's start with the hopeful ideas. Maybe we're just early. The universe is still young. The very first stars had to live and die just to forge the atoms that life is made of. So maybe we're not late to a party that already ended. Maybe we're among the first guests to arrive, sitting in a near-empty room because almost everyone else is still on their way. Or maybe the distances are simply too cruel. Space is unimaginably big and unimaginably empty, and the speed of light is a hard wall nobody gets around. 2 civilizations could rise and fall like ships passing in a fog, each one flickering into existence and back out again before the other's light ever arrives. We might be surrounded by neighbors we will never meet, separated not by space, but by time. Or maybe they're out there, and they're just quiet. We assume aliens would blast radio signals across the galaxy, but we've only been broadcasting for about a century, and we're already going dark. switching to cables, and tight little beams that leak almost nothing into space. A truly advanced civilization might be all around us and completely silent. Not hiding, just efficient. And then there's a darker version of that idea. And its name tells you everything. The dark forest. What if the reason nobody is talking is that talking is dangerous? In a universe where you can't know a stranger's intentions and where one side could wipe out the other, the safest move is to stay hidden and say nothing. So picture the galaxy not as an empty desert, but as a dark forest at night, full of armed hunters, every single one of them holding their breath. In that story, the silence isn't emptiness. The silence is everyone hiding. But all of those ideas still assume somebody is out there. The most haunting answers go the other way. There's a concept called the Great Filter. It says that somewhere on the long road from dead rock to a galaxy-spanning civilization, there is one step, one barrier, that is almost impossible to get past. A wall that stops nearly everybody. And the silence we hear is just the sound of almost everybody failing to get past it. Here is why that idea sits so heavy. The filter is somewhere on the road. The only question is whether it's behind us or in front of us. Maybe it's behind us. Maybe the leap from non-life to life is the wall, and it almost never happens. Or maybe it's the jump from simple cells to complex ones, which on Earth took billions of years, and may have been a freak accident that only worked once. If the filter is behind us, if the hard part was just getting this far, then, well, congratulations to us. We're the rare ones. We made it. The galaxy is quiet because almost nothing ever climbs to where we already stand. But maybe the filter is ahead of us. Maybe building a civilization turns out to be the easy part, and surviving one is the hard part. Maybe intelligence, again and again, all across the universe, keeps inventing the very tools that destroy it, and every species slams into a wall it built itself and goes silent before it can ever reach the stars. This is why some scientists say the scariest possible discovery would be finding life on Mars. Not little green men, just microbes. Because if life turns out to be common, if it springs up all over the place, then the filter probably isn't behind us. It's still out there ahead of us, still waiting. And we haven't reached it yet. So, which is it? Honestly, we don't know. The silence is the only real data we have, and we are still arguing about what it's trying to tell us. But here's what I keep coming back to. Both answers are staggering. If we really are alone, the only minds in an entire universe, the one place that ever woke up and looked around, then we are unspeakably precious and unspeakably fragile, and we are holding a responsibility we can barely comprehend. Don't blow it. And if we're not alone, if the silence is hiding something, then the universe is far stranger and far more crowded than it's letting on. And one day, the quiet might break. Either way, the next time you're standing under a dark sky, look up at all those stars and just sit for a second with the question Fermi asked at lunch, the one we still cannot answer. Where is everybody? If you like sitting with questions like this one, subscribe and stick around. There's always more to ponder. Next up, the grandfather paradox. What actually happens if you break time? Stick around and ponder it with me.